Hello peeps, Hillbilly Half with you guys. We're doing a chat today and it started, the attack on Farage has started last night. They did the Panorama interview where he basically said nothing really. He just said one thing. They asked him about the war in Ukraine and he said the EU and others had encouraged it, and that is historical history and it has happened. And even I remember Biden being interviewed at the start of the war on CNN and he said exactly the same thing. So there we are. But the establishment has started to attack Farage. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who subscribed over the last few days. Really appreciate it. And I'll continue to do this political things until the end of the election because everybody seems to like it and it's nice to get some proper information out there that isn't spun. So what we're going to talk about today is the establishment blob in the UK. Now, for lots of people who watch the mainstream media, especially in the UK, they don't realise, and especially in Wales, Wales is worse in the UK. We're being run by the civil service. And politicians really are just a front and they blame everything on that. But the civil service has took so much control over our lives, it's got out of control, really. So if the politician they don't like is coming to prominence, they try to remove the politician and then they blame the politician and they cause a problem. Sir Humphreys. Now I know this because a relative of mine was one of these people. She was very high up in the civil service and she was working with a lot of ministers. So she used to tell me about it all the time. You know, it's common knowledge to a lot of people. But people who don't understand this, they think, oh, it's the politician making it. They use politicians as scapegoats. So what is happening now, the politicians are realising that, not the politicians, the blob realised ages ago when Conservatives have been in power for about 10 years and then they had Boris and whoever in charge and they decided we're going to stop this now. They got Sunak in there, so they put Sunak in charge of the Conservative Party so he could basically hand over to Labour. That's what's happened. And one of the top civil servants is actually working for the Labour Party now. She's advising Keir Starmer. So what their idea is to hand over quietly to Labour Party so they can carry on as normal. Now, that's why Sunak and the Conservative Party, remember, Conservative Party is the most ruthless election-winning party that's ever been in any country. They'll do anything to win, and this, if you notice this election, they're doing everything to lose because they don't want to win. The plan all along has been to pass the baton on to Keir Starmer so the civil service can carry on with what they were up to before. That has been the plan. Now Farage has threw a spanner into the works and they're doing an all-out attack on him, like I've said, and thank you for watching these videos. So he's going to have more of this now. So the only way to do this is, like I say, the country needs you all. You need to get your Brexit mates and your people who voted for Brexit and the people who don't vote to say, get out there and vote for reform. You need to fight back against this stuff. They're not going to win the election, but they might get a handful, might get 5 MPs, but that might be enough to get proportional representation and change the elections forever. Now, in Europe, the same thing has happened, and there's lots of parties in Europe that have absolutely stunned the civil service by winning. And they're not right-wing at all, they're just normal people fighting back against this civil service blob. It's full of quangos making lots of money behind the scenes and never get blamed and can't be removed. If you go and look at my previous videos, there's one last week I did about the pigs in the trough, and you'll see the hundreds and hundreds of thousands that these people are making and pension contributions for doing bugger all, really. There was one doctor making £600,000 a year and his pension was £300,000. It's £286,000, I think. So you go and have a look back on that video if you don't mind. If that is what is happening in Wales, and that's what's going to happen in England. Quangos are running the show and the civil service got too big for its boots. So like I said, your country needs you now. Get out there and vote for reform. They won't win the election, but this will frighten the establishment so much they won't know what to make of it all. So just my little quiet video for today, and thank you all for subscribing, much appreciated, and hope you have a nice day. Ta-da!